Luka Doncic yesterday got 207 milli, $41.4 million a year. And immediately it made us wonder aloud, is he really worth all that? And you hear about all these contract extensions from Trey Young to Kevin Durant to Steph Curry. And of course, what comes on the books for the Utah Jazz this year? Donovan Mitchell's contract. And so the question has to be asked, who is the best young player in the NBA? Jake, you can only get one. Who you taking?
Yeah, I mean, the best young player right now, I think Donovan's definitely right there. I think coming off of this year, he went really far in the playoffs by young player standards. So to me, if I'm building an organization, Don is the guy that I would go with. Now, a lot of people are going to say Luka or, Trey Young or, any of these guys. Yeah, that's who a lot of people will go with. But I'm telling you right now, I think of the young players we have in the league, Donovan Mitchell is the best of the group, mainly because he doesn't have chemistry issues with his teammates. He's not a problem. That's my biggest thing with Luka and why I'm so surprised they gave him this extension. Yes, he is good, but what has he really done? I mean, if you think about it, what has Luka Doncic really done in the league outside of making a highlight tape? Outside of that, has he won anything? No. Has he cultivated a relationship with Kristaps Porzingis? No. It's to the point where Kristaps doesn't even want to play in Dallas anymore because they don't have a good relationship. Anybody notice that they didn't really get any major free agents? Wonder why that is. So I start looking at this situation and I start saying, man, do guys really want to play with Luka? Is Luka somebody that is loved in the league by players? Is Luka somebody that you're turning down less money to go and play with? Donovan Mitchell is, right? Utah is. We've seen that. We've heard that. We heard it with Rudy Gay. We heard it with Hassan Whiteside. We've heard it with several of these signings. So that's why I say, who's the best young player right now? I think it almost has to be Donovan Mitchell. I don't really even know that when you look at total package, not just what's on the floor, but total package, I think Don's by far got the most complete game.
Well, but I also think there's more to this conversation than complete game or championships or playoffs, or I think the ability for the next 5 years, because that's what these contracts run. Now, are all these guys, Trey Young, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, are these guys going to be on their current teams for the next 5 years? Yeah, actually, I think they will be. And so the question has to be, which team is in position to win a championship first? I would certainly not rank the Dallas Mavericks at the top of that list. And one of the reasons that I think that's so clear to me is because Luka Doncic has this reputation problem where he bitches and moans at officials. We saw it during the regular season. We saw it during the playoffs. And sadly, it continued into the Olympic tournament, and I think it got worse. And they absolutely took a swooping in NBA free agency. Nobody wants to play in Dallas right now, and I think Luka Doncic is a big part of that because there aren't many other NBA owners that you'd rather play for than Mark Cuban. Dallas is a great market to live in, although it's humid as hell and you sweat through your clothes. Other than that, it's fine. But the point is, nobody wants to play with Luka Doncic right now, and I think that's a big part of building around a guy like that. I think if you're talking championships and young players, I think you have to be looking at the Atlanta Hawks and the Utah Jazz. And frankly, I think the Atlanta Hawks have an easier road. The Eastern Conference certainly is easier to get through. But I don't know how you side with anybody but Donovan Mitchell in this discussion. The guy showed you everything you needed to know. He has heart. He plays through injuries. Not well at times, but he plays through injuries. And when he's healthy, the guy is absolutely a stud. I don't know how you even consider, Jake, taking another player over Donovan Mitchell here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like I said, I think Donovan is showing us what he's all about. Now, I do think that the conversation about winning championships is an important one, and I do maintain that Donovan could do everything within his power, and they still wouldn't win a championship, mainly because of what's going on around him. So we'll see how it all comes together. But at the end of the day, what I know is that Trey Young has a pretty solid team around him as well, and we know that he loves to be the villain. So we know that he's more than happy to go on the road and be the underdog. We know that him and that team love that role. So that's why I say, overall, have they signed the major free agent name yet? No, they haven't. Is that on Trey Young? No, I don't think so. Not in his situation because they didn't really want to spend the money. I look at Luka's situation and I say they're more than willing to spend the money. They were trying to get, think of all the names they were trying to get. I mean, hell, what were we talking about? We were talking about, I know for a fact they were looking at Lonzo. I know there were some rumors swirling around about, Dallas potentially trying to do a DeMar deal. There were a lot of guys that they were after, and everybody said no. And that to me is the truest sign. So I just think if you're a Jazz fan, you should be really thrilled with what Donovan has shown you so far. And I think the question really is, what is going to enable Donovan Mitchell to take that next step to get to the Western Conference Finals and then, of course, to get to the NBA Finals? Because I think that's where Jazz fans are at.
Where does Don rank like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James?
I don't think he's in that group yet. I think the conversation that always pisses Jazz fans off is the Devin Booker comparison because they're so close. Like, I think Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, those three guys in particular are kind of in their own little group. They're very even with what they do. And then I think there's a cut above them for sure. I think Dame, Steph, you have who else would you throw in there? You got to ask about Ja Morant.
But I don't put Dame amongst the elite players in the NBA yet. And I think when you look at his age and you look at the fact they haven't taken the next step, I think Portland's made a Herculean effort to do that. He has a running mate in CJ. I think there is some proving ground that still has to be gone over for Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I definitely think he still is proving that he can win, but I do think that, winning is part of being an elite player. Okay, if you want to throw him in the cut below those guys then. Either way, the guy, I don't think anybody doubts that the guy can torch any team. The guy can take over a game and single-handedly win you a game.
Best player in the NBA right now, I think, by far, is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I think the second best player in the NBA is a huge debate. Because I seriously don't know the answer to that. I don't know that it's LeBron James right now today. Before he got hurt last year, before his ankle turned in directions no human ankle should turn, I would have said LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. But at some point, you run into the wall where you can't recover. And I need to see LeBron back on the floor. I also think I saw a guy in the playoffs that just couldn't do the job. In LeBron James. I don't know who the second best player in the NBA is. I think there is some conversation around Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I think he earned every penny of that $50 million deal he signed. I would put James Harden in that conversation. I think Kyrie is vastly underrated strictly as a basketball player. Now, he's a dipshit as a guy. The guy is he's not somebody I would ever want on my team.
What an idiot.
Yeah, but if we're talking about best players in the NBA, I think they got 3 of the top 7 to 10 players in the NBA without question.
Without question, yeah. To me, so I do put Steph as the second best player just because, he's been healthy. He's shown the ability to carry his team. He's taken over games. There's nobody else like him in the league. I think we can all agree on that, the way he plays the game and what he's able to do. So I put him as the second best player in the league. I would probably go LeBron after that, and then it's probably Harden. And
Harden or Giannis?
I would take James Harden. I'm not a Giannis guy. I know that he put 50 up in the postseason, but at the end of the day, I think there are ways to beat Giannis, and it just wasn't executed properly.
Kyrie or Giannis?
I'm
taking Kyrie, and it's not close.
Well,
this game is not about the skill set that Giannis has. If you put Giannis up against just about any player in this league, he's going to score.
Yeah, Kyrie's hit the big shot.
But you can defend Giannis. You can defend Giannis. I don't know that there's a way to defend Kyrie Irving because you're not going to keep him in front of you. You're not going to stop him from making 3s and 2s.
Yeah, he's his own worst enemy. He's
absolutely.
He's been the only one to stop himself.
I think if we're talking top 5 players, I think I'm Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James. Those are my top 3.
And that's really where the water gets kind of murky.
Yeah, I think I'm going Kyrie 4, Giannis 5, James Harden, 6. And then, I mean, from there, I think you got to be looking at guys like Luka Doncic. There's something that feels wrong about Luka. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that is. Everybody labels him as the likable guy.
He's not.
And maybe this is where we need our viewers to play. Is Luka Doncic a likable figure?
Yeah. Like, you know how James Harden was hated when he was in Houston at the end there? Like, is Luka different? Is Luka liked?
Yeah.
From the fan perspective. I'd be interested to hear that.
Eric C., first one in this morning. Good morning to you. James Knight, morning, boys. Have a great show. Thanks. Omar says, good morning, you yahoos. Good morning. Brylark says, morning, boys. Brylark also says, can't wait for all the coke and hooker stories since Mrs. Monty is out of town.
Welcome to the fucking show.
I stayed up till 10:30 last night. I got crazy and stayed up till 10:30.
What were you doing?
Well, my forearm's tired, man.
Really?
No.
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. The sleeping in a California king-size bed by yourself.
You didn't like it. Wow.
We'll talk about it. Brylark says Steph is number 2. I don't know if LeBron is even in the top 5 at this point in his career after the injury. You know, LeBron's really a lightning rod because so many people don't like LeBron for the activism and the Black Lives Matter and, the school and the tax write-off and he's really good and he makes more money than you, which pisses you off. Like, there's a lot of people who don't like LeBron.
Yeah.
If you don't respect LeBron, you just don't watch the game. Like, I have a lot of respect for LeBron James. I don't like LeBron. I don't like the way he plays the game. I don't like... it is what it is, though. I think LeBron is...
I think the top 5 discussion for LeBron is definitely a legitimate conversation. We have to see...
He's top 5. Come on.
No, we have to see what he does on the floor now. And I still maintain he's got huge potential this season because of all the rest. But if you think about it, who would you rather have right now? I mean, seriously, think about it. I mean, look at his teammates. I mean, obviously, we got to talk about Anthony Davis, no? Is Anthony Davis not one of the top 5 best players in the league right now?
No, I don't think he is.
Okay, top 10? He's got to be top 10.
Okay.
Are you taking Jokic before Anthony Davis? I mean, he got the MVP, but if we just look at nuts and bolts on the floor.
He played 72 games.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic played 72 games and averaged, 6 points a game?
Yeah, and a bunch of assists.
The guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Who we haven't said yet? Bradley Beal.
Yeah, Bradley Beal isn't quite top 10 yet. I don't know about that. He can really score, but I'm talking about overall package because you look at what all these other guys can do, and it's different. It's on another level.
Dude, I don't know, man. I think... I don't know what else does Bradley Beal have to do that make him a total package. I mean,
something more than just scoring. There's a difference between being a scoring champion and being one of the best players in the league. Best players in the league doesn't just mean you can score.
Yeah.
Which is why James Harden's improvement on defense has brought him up the list.
Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is definitely one of the best players in the league. No doubt about it.
Paul
best
George.
two-way player in the league for sure.
Paul George.
He's
two-way player in the league for sure.
Kawhi's the best two-way player in the league without a doubt.
Wow.
I think Paul George. I don't know, man. He's a top 10 player in the league for sure, but I think he's scraping into the top 10.
Yeah,
that would be the best way I could say it. Because so the for sure locks top 10 players in the league, right? The locks, no doubt about it, that we could all agree on would be KD, Steph, LeBron. Giannis has to be there. James Harden,
Kyrie Irving.
Okay, so that's 6. And then it's these last 4 that are really tough.
Is Luka one of the top 10 players in the NBA?
I don't know, man. I'm not ready to say he is. I'm not certainly saying he's, outside of the top 15, but top 10 is very exclusive.
Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell's not top 10 yet. No, not yet.
Devin Booker?
I don't think he's top 10 either.
Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum's close. He's close. but not yet.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah, for me, Dame is a top 10 player. Yeah, I agree with you that he has proving in the winning category to do. Yes, I agree. But I think that you can hand him the ball and say, hey, go win me the game. And he will do that.
Ben Simmons. Just kidding. Trey Young.
No, not yet. Not yet. He's coming.
Man.
He's coming, but not yet. What has he done? This is the first year in the postseason.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I look at...
By the way, in the comments, who are we forgetting? Are we forgetting someone that you feel is a top 10 NBA player?
Yeah. Emmanuel Kwajadoshibu says, where would you rank Conley in the league?
Oh, I don't know. That's
not top 10.
That he's not in the best players in the league conversation. He's in the where does he rank among point guards conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably true, James. James Knight says that Paul George enhanced his rep. Stop sending me disappearing messages, you cocks. Ace says you're dramatically devaluing Donovan Mitchell. No, actually, I'm not. I'm not.
He's not a top 10 player yet, man. He's definitely top 20.
So
the question is he top 15?
And this confirms that Ace can't comment on YouTube because we're back. I'm not reading disappearing messages anymore.
Vanish mode.
I'm not. Okay, See, like, just the fucking fact that I have to know another name of
Vanish
something.
mode.
The fact I have to know another name of something, vanish mode, when I can't remember my name most days.
Yeah.
Like, stop with this. Oh.
It's just not worth it.
No. Look, I love the NBA. I digress. I love the NBA.
Right.
Rudy Sanchez says Jokic is top 10 for sure. Who's better, Donovan Mitchell or Damian Lillard?
See, that's a really tough conversation, right? We've had this conversation on the show. You guys remember when the Damian Lillard stuff first started? You know, we remember a couple weeks ago, or probably a month ago now, actually. Jeez, it's gone by fast.
Yeah.
A month ago when everyone was like, oh my God, Dame went to Weber State. He's coming to the Jazz. We're winning a championship. Yeah, that didn't happen for obvious reasons. But I think that's when these conversations really kicked off.
I don't think they're a great fit together.
Yeah.
I don't.
You mean Don and Dame
together on the same floor on the same team.
Yeah.
But they're different players in that Dame has evolved into a scorer that scores by shooting. Don still hasn't figured out you can't play at and above the rim and stay in the NBA a long time.
Yeah, stay healthy. Yeah.
So we'll see how he evolves. But I don't know. James Knight says, where does Joe Ingles fit into the top 10? I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
Oh, what a loser!
That was funny. That was funny.
Unfair comparison. Dame is 9 years older, right? Well, yeah.
But I think that age difference you can make a case that helps Donovan versus Dame.
No, you can make a case that helps Dame because he's still at a high level, even though he's 76 years old, right? In NBA years, it just is. Listen, I think Damian Lillard's a great player. I just don't think he's in that group of the top 10. Frankly, I have trouble putting Dame as an elite player because of what's going on in Portland. They're melting down. They are in need of a leader, and I don't know that Dame's that leader. Because when you're talking about, I'm not sure if I'm going to ask for a trade. Okay, well, that means you're not a good leader. Mm-hmm. You're when you leave stuff in limbo like this, I've lost a little respect for Damian Lillard through this whole thing in Portland. Mm-hmm. Supporting a guy in Chauncey Billups to be your head coach and then figuring out that he has a bad past and you're like, oh, now I don't support him. Well, maybe you should have done your homework before you supported him. Like, I've lost a little for Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
In this offseason.
There's definitely been an adventure.
Having said that, the guy's a phenomenal player. He's not top 10.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
Kyrie Irving, think about guards. Kyrie Irving or Damian Lillard? All day.
I'd rather, to be honest with you, and I'm not even being stubborn, I'd rather have Dame.
No,
I'd rather have Dame.
I can't see.
What good are
is
you not on the
hiring
floor?
A co-host. If you'd like to apply,
I will chain you to a pipe.
If you'd like to apply, send me a vanishing message.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. I think it's ridiculous to take Damian Lillard over
Why
Kyrie
is it
Irving.
ridiculous?
One, Kyrie got COVID. like what other player, changes his religion in the middle of a season? I mean, that's why you're taking
What
Kyrie
guy?
Irving.
I mean, what guy goes to a party during the middle of one of the biggest pandemics we've ever had and misses games? I mean,
that's Kyrie Irving for you.
The coronavirus.
Kyrie Irving's skill set is amazing. His game is more in depth than Dame's. The handle that Kyrie brings,
he's got a better handle. There's no doubt.
I think he's got the best handle in the game. I think the finishing ability, look.
Here's my biggest
Kyrie
problem.
Irving's a better basketball player than Damian Lillard.
Yeah, the problem is he's never on the floor. That's the problem. Why did
hurt
Brooklyn,
a lot.
Why did Brooklyn not go to the NBA Finals this year?
Because he wasn't on the floor.
Because he got hurt and Kevin Durant had to carry the ball club. So that's why I say,
and that's why Kevin's not the best player in the world, because he can't carry his team like Giannis did.
Oh, what a loser!
Yes, he is the best player in the world.
Don't be rude.
Steph Curry or Damian Lillard?
Steph.
I'm trying to think of other Trey Young or Damian Lillard.
I think you still have to take Dame because neither of them have won anything.
Jimmy Butler or Damian Lillard?
Wow.
Oh!
I mean, Jimmy's won.
Come on, man.
But they're two different. They play
Jimmy's
two different
won
position.
what?
He's won a championship.
He has?
Yeah, I believe so.
With who?
With the Heat.
When?
Didn't he win a championship?
No.
2 years ago?
No, the fucking Lakers. What is wrong with you?
No, not the Lakers series. Not the Lakers
he
series.
Did?
No, the year before that.
Okay, now
maybe I'm wrong. I thought
Jimmy Butler did not win a championship, did he?
Yes, I'm pretty sure the Miami Heat won the championship a couple years ago.
Was he on that team?
Yes. Dude, Jimmy Butler's been in Miami Heat for a long time.
Okay. No, he's not an NBA champion. Man, shut up. He's won a gold medal. Does that matter? No, he went to the finals with the Heat when they played the Lakers. He hasn't won a championship. He was on the team the last 3 years. He was Philly, Minnesota, and then the Bulls before that. That disaster. But he's a 5-time All-Star, most improved player. He's not an NBA champion, though.
Yeah. He's a more complete player than Dame is. He can do more for you.
I would take Jimmy Butler over Damian Lillard. I think. Now, I know,
don't know, dude.
You don't know what?
I mean, Jimmy's done more. There's no doubt. You can't argue the fact that Jimmy's been to the NBA Finals. He's played a lot of meaningful basketball. He's done a lot of things, but
I'm just telling you that Damian Lillard, and look, I get it. Damian Lillard scores a hell of a lot of points. What is it, 34 points a game or whatever?
Yeah.
And he in the postseason.
Dame's probably the best of the guys who've never won. That's probably where he's at right now.
Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard?
Probably got to take Bradley Beal.
Luka Doncic or Damian Lillard?
Damian Lillard all day. Not even close. I really don't even think that that's a conversation.
Jason Tatum or Damian Lillard?
I think you still got to take Dame. Yeah.
Wow. Donovan Mitchell or Damian Lillard?
See, and this is one where I say Don's got a real chance and here's why. Think about what we saw to Donovan Mitchell. And I understand that a lot of it was hero ball, but he's consistently knocking down deep threes now. The deep 3-point range of Donovan Mitchell is becoming a thing.
Paul George or Damian Lillard?
Paul George. Yeah, Paul George.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you got to go Paul George. He can do more for you.
Yeah. Christian Wood or Damian Lillard? Kidding. It was a joke.
Douche-canoes.
CJ McCallum or Damian Lillard?
Dame.
I think that's closer than you think.
Well, it's not closer for me, but
I think Damian Lillard's an incredible scorer. I just don't know that Dame is an incredible teammate. That's what I need to know.
I think that you're vastly underestimating him in that sense. I think, yes, he hasn't handled this the best, but the guy's been there for how long?
Yeah.
And been a great guy.
Okay. I think Damian Lillard's not top 10. And I'm taking Donovan Mitchell over Damian Lillard.
Okay, fair enough.
Every game. Luka's mom or Stacy's mom? Luka's mom. Emmanuel says if the Jazz and Lakers go against each other, who do you get? LeBron is getting old. Oh, I'm taking the Lakers. The Lakers are
This whole Lakers old thing is just tired and it's dumb. Like
again. I mean, they can beat you any way you want to get beaten. You want to get beaten in the post, they can beat you there. You want to get beat outside shooting, now they've got elite shooting. I think the Jazz are a very much improved team. I think they've had the best offseason of anybody. I think I look at Eric Paschal and Rudy Gay and Jared Butler. I mean, you got a mid-first round talent at the 40th pick.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking
Pretty
about?
good, dude.
Justin Zanuck crushed the offseason. It's one of those things. Macon Convo says YouTube needs a vanishing mode. Okay.
Vanish mode.
Tanner Plummer says Damian Lillard or Devin Booker. Damian Lillard. Well, because those are two guys that heavily rely on their shot.
And Dame hits him more. You're right.
And Dame is a lethal 3-point shooter. We'll see what Book does now. I heard some people saying he's going to take 4 weeks off and travel the world. That's probably what I would do. I would go pound Kardashian box, and I would go travel the world. Right? I mean, when you're dating
just so you can go to Pound Town.
Yeah, when you're dating a Kardashian, you got to get that while you can, because we all know it ain't gonna last forever.
Kitty Cat Juices is not all over the place.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
Know. This is a tough discussion. I think,
it's really tough.
to answer the question directly, I think Donovan Mitchell is close to top 10. I don't think he's top 10 yet. I think him, Booker, Dame, Trey Young.
Tatum.
Jason Tatum. Those guys are on the cusp.
Yeah.
And I think if none of those guys are in the top 10 in the next 2 years, they'll never be.
Yeah.
And that's what I say about my guy D Book. Book's got to have a massive season this coming season. He's got to rest and build his body this offseason. He's got to figure out how to make a 3-point jumper at a 38 to 40% clip. And if he does that, forget it. It's over. He could be top 7 in my opinion.
I think he's got to do what Bradley Beal has been doing over the last couple of seasons. Bradley Beal's really kind of emerged as this killer offensively.
He's exploded as an offensive guy. Now Brad Beal, and it's Brad.
Brad, my bad. It's not Bradley.
Yeah, Brad wants to be called Bradley, or Bradley wants to be called Brad, not Bradley. And anyway, Double B, Brad Beal. I think he's really exploded offensively, and I think Devin Booker's got to take another big step forward. Oddly enough, Devin Booker, everybody always talks about how he's not a good defender. I think he was the best defender on Team USA in the Olympics. He showed that.
He was playing well, no doubt.
Yeah, he was matched up against the other team's best player. I think we saw in the NBA playoffs that he was a really good defender. And the thing that's gotten better is his anticipation and his understanding. It's a maturing player. Everybody goes through this. Your understanding of what the other team's trying to do to you and how you can best defend that. That, to me, is where he's gotten better. But Devin Booker's regressed on his 3-point shot. It is not going in the hole consistently. He's turned into a guy that's getting to the basket whenever he wants now. But he's got to shoot that 3 on a regular basis, or he's just not the dynamic player that they need.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
You have to.
In this day and age, you have to have it. I don't think there's any doubt. Emmanuel says Lakers are going to need a lot of load management this year. Everybody's going to load manage this year.
A lot, yeah.
Anybody that played in the Olympics, Kevin Durant's going to load manage this year. Tatum, Dame's got this abdominal injury now.
All of them.
I'm telling you, it was a mistake for most of these guys to go to the Olympics. And that's why I said I have no problem with Steph Curry not going to the Olympics. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympic guys, won't pay the price until about halfway through the NBA season when they run out of gas.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. James Knight says, do you think Utah is a much better place to go small now Rudy Gay can play the 5? Okay, we need to stop with this Rudy Gay can play the 5 thing. Rudy Gay is a 3-4, and he's really what they call a stretch 3-4. He can play in small sets. He can play the 5. But if you're against any of the premier power forwards or bigs, Rudy Gay's not the guy you want at the 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Hassan Whiteside's here.
Yeah.
If you want to go mobile and you want to go a little smaller, you go with Hassan Whiteside.
The question we should be asking is, can they play big? That's the question. Can they play Hassan and Rudy at the same time with with Rudy Gay at the 3? That's the question we need to be asking because there's opportunity there for sure.
I don't know why people get so upset about our Rudy Gay or our Rudy Gobert conversation yesterday. Like, you'd have thought we lit the world on fire or something.
Are there comments about it?
Oh, my God. The YouTube comments yesterday were just ridiculous about, one guy got blocked by YouTube after he called us an a-hole and
I will downsize your face with a shovel.
pretty much. Like it is, and I'll just read a couple of these. There's a lot of cursing. Spida Cheetah says, I think Gobert is the third best center in the NBA. Jokic and Embiid are ahead of him because of their offense. Defensively, he's better. Whoa, whoa, whoa. When Gobert is in the game, they wanted to give him the ball on France. Like, this is something that was a huge point of contention. I said on the show yesterday that France lost, in my opinion, because they featured Rudy Gobert. And this is what I'll say about the Jazz. And I know this has been a huge conversation that, the Jazz have to feed Rudy Gobert the ball. When Donovan Mitchell was hurt and Mike Conley was hurt, you got to feed Rudy Gobert the basketball. When you're at full strength, what is the upside of giving Rudy Gobert the ball with his back to the basket?
The only upside potentially would be getting the other team in foul trouble. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's like the only.
Did you hear my back pop right there?
Yeah, well, that was weird.
That was my back popping right there. I'm old, man. What's the upside? Like, I was listening to The Zone yesterday here in Salt Lake City, and they were talking about how Rudy Gobert proved that he has grown his offensive game and he can now dribble the ball. And it's like, did we watch the same Olympic tournament? Because I saw Rudy Gobert with his back to the basket, hooking and holding Kevin Durant. There was a video of him grabbing Kevin Durant's short and jersey at his hip and holding them so he could catch the ball. You're not going to get away with that in the NBA. They're going to call that. Mm-hmm. Anybody that watched the Olympic tournament and thinks that Rudy Gobert all of a sudden has grown an offensive game and he can play with his back to the basket, there's two things I'd point out to you. France lost, and they played slow, plodding, methodical basketball trying to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And they lost because of that. Why did they lose to the Americans? Because they didn't shoot the three well. Okay? Then Rudy Gobert gets fouled. Oh, but that was their plan, to get guys in foul trouble. How did that work out for you at the end?
You lost.
Nobody fouled out of that game for the U.S. Nobody. Rudy fouled out. Nobody on the U.S. side fouled out. Not certainly because of Rudy Gobert. And by the way, it was a win for the U.S. And why is that? Because he only made half his free throws.
And they weren't shooting threes, which is how they win games.
So, again, I'm just going to say, what is the formula? Ask yourself this question. When the Utah Jazz were at their best last season, because we don't know what they're going to be this season. When the Utah Jazz were at their best last season, what were they doing? Well, in the second half, it was usually, Bojan Bogdanovic shooting threes, scoring 48 points, running the floor, getting in the basket, shooting threes. Oh, my God, they made 964 threes in that quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What part of that gets better if Rudy Gobert is with his back to the basket or you're featuring Rudy Gobert? What part of that gets better? What part of your game do you play faster, which is when the Jazz last year were really good, when they were playing fast and shooting threes? What part of that gets enhanced by feeding Rudy Gobert the ball in the post? There's not a part of it that gets better. So this idea that all of a sudden after a month in training camp with France, he's got this game where he can dribble, and he never showed in the Olympics that he can put the ball on the floor and score.
And by the way, the best big talent's not in the Olympics. Just want to point that out too. Like, as awesome as Kevin Durant is, he's Gobert outweighs him by a ton.
And the other thing that you have to remember is that Rudy Gobert's highest best use is as a pick and roll guy, and you lob him the basketball, which teams are now taking away from him. So, anyway, my point, I get it. 1280 The Zone is the flagship station in the Utah Jazz. I totally understand it. Please do not drink the Kool-Aid that Rudy Gobert all of a sudden has turned into an elite offensive center, because he's not. He is not Giannis. He is not Joel Embiid. He is not Nikola Jokic. He struggles to guard Jokic. We saw that in that Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
where Bogey scored 48. Jokic was open, and this was the inexplicable thing. Jokic was open most of the night. He just chose not to shoot it till the fourth quarter. I don't understand it either. But let's not get into this thing where we believe all of a sudden that Rudy Gobert has evolved into some amazing player. And I'll read a few more comments. With the potential emergence of Azubuike.
Okay, stop right there.
Jordan, and this is Jordan McDonald.
Let's just stop right there. Everybody is saying Azubuike's having a great summer league. Great. That's awesome. That's good news. That doesn't mean he's going to be some amazing guy in the regular season. We got to see that.
Can we please not overreact to summer league? I think this is really, really important. Name me the guy who blew up the summer league and then turned into a superstar. It doesn't happen very often. And with Azubuike, the thing that everybody the other night, and the Jazz, their job is to tweet out unbelievable things about their players. Everybody retweeted the video of Azubuike dunking on somebody on the blue team, I think it was. And people are like, oh my God, all-star, sign him to a 5-year max. And it's like, hey man, do you understand where Azubuike is in this organization? He is going to be your third center. I think there's no question he's on the roster. He's going to be your third center, 7 to 10 minutes on a good night. That's it. You just paid Hassan Whiteside, and you're paying Rudy Gobert. So explain to me how Azubuike plays a significant role in where the potential emergence is.
Injuries, that's the only way he'll see significant time.
There is no potential emergence.
Yeah.
Right? But Jordan McDonald says, with the potential emergence of Azubuike, do you think trading Gobert becomes more of a possibility after the upcoming season?
Yeah, I just don't think there's an emergence yet. I mean, I think we're just too early on. I mean, again, this is the first game action this guy's seen in 8 months, 9 months, after the injury recovery.
Well, he full-time game action because he did play for the Jazz at the end of the season.
Yeah, but okay, full-time game action. I mean, this is like he's actually playing like significant minutes now,
You have to figure out, and at some point you're going to have to swallow the pill, that you're paying Rudy Gobert $41 million a year to not play 35 minutes a night. You're just going to have to come to grips with that.
I don't think people realize how much Hassan Whiteside's going to play for this team.
Well, if you're going to win a championship, and again, this was another argument we had on YouTube the other day. Why is everything about winning a championship? Because what the fuck else do you play the game for?
What are we here for?
Excuse my French. I've been cursing a lot
Yes,
lately.
you have.
I need to stop doing that. Anyway, I don't mean to curse so much. It just happens. Why else do you play this game? Do you play this game to finish second? Do you play this game just kind of show up and hope for the best? I don't. I don't think Donovan Mitchell does.
The Lakers don't.
You play this game to win championships. That's it. Right? And if you want to win a championship, Rudy Gobert can't play 35 minutes. And I will maintain the same thing I've said 10 times, and I said it yesterday. And again, Barry Schmaltedextrin guy lit me up.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Lit up yesterday and was like, you don't know basketball.
Do you even watch Jazz games?
When I said that Rudy Gobert is not a winning player and the Jazz will not win a championship with him, he does not consistently win at the highest level. Oh, but look, he carried it. Listen to me. Rudy Gobert never carried France. He's never carried the Jazz, not a single minute of his NBA career. Has Rudy Gobert been the reason that the Jazz are an elite team?
He's been the reason they've lost.
Rudy Gobert is a really, really good defensive player. I mean, he is arguably the best defensive player, the best defensive big man, no doubt, in the NBA.
Yeah.
Arguably the best defensive player in the NBA. Hard stop. That's it.